I don't talk about my real feelings. I talk about events that upset me, but I don't talk about like what I do when I get upset. I don't talk about my anxiety all that much to anyone. Hi everybody, it's Ashley here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, or if you're new, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today's video is actually a story time of me just talking about my first panic attack. I hope you enjoyed the video. What am I saying? I don't know. Let's just get into it. I've had anxiety since as long as I can remember. I've always been afraid of going down the stairs when I was little. Like I used to sit down on my bum and step down the stairs like with my hands and my feet, like I climbed down them. I was just so scared of heights and I hated getting off school buses. I needed someone to like pick me up and carry me off of it. Apparently when I was like a baby, whenever my mom used to put me on the swings, I would stop breathing. And then, I don't know, once I got to be like 8 years old, I got fine with stairs and I got fine with swing sets. I probably was an anxious child, I'm not gonna lie, but it wasn't like obvious, like super obvious. The only like really noticeable sign were like big changes, like super out of the norm. So for example, like my first day of grade 6, I was so sick to my stomach from stress. But I didn't know it was from stress. Like I thought I was sick and I didn't even want to go to my first day of school. But obviously it's the first day of school. Like most kids love the first day. I was a new student. I was new to a city. It was the first city I'd ever lived in. And it was just a whole different life for me. And I felt awful the whole first day of school. And during the lunch break, like I took one bite of my apple from my lunch kit and that was it. When I ate that one bite, I thought I was just gonna be sick instantly. So once I got home, I was feeling better. And so the next day I felt a little bit off, but it was like a bit better again. Like I felt actually quite a bit better. And then the third day of school, back to normal. My anxiety that I didn't really know was anxiety, like it got really bad in July 2009, so 10 years ago. I was about to go up to visit my mom because I was living with my dad. Right before me and my sister went up to visit my mom, we went and saw the Harry Potter movie. It was in theaters, the 6th one. This feels like forever ago. I had been feeling a little off, so I didn't eat anything in the theater. And so halfway through the movie, my stomach it feels like it twists. Then I start freaking out. So for the rest of the movie, I'm completely my legs are shaking. I'm constantly playing with my hair, just fiddling my fingers, anything. And I didn't know what was going on. I didn't process it as anxiety. I didn't even really know what anxiety was at the time. I was kind of a dumb 13-year-old. So I finally get home. And I tell my sister, I'm I couldn't breathe at one point in the movie and it really, really scared me. And I was I feel a bit better now, but I don't know what it was. And she was oh, I don't know. She's okay, we'll just sleep it off and whatever. So then a week later, maybe, not even, a few days later, we go up to visit my mom. And it's also where my sister lived at the time, which was Fort McMurray, which was where I went to school the year before. So we drove up to Fort McMurray. It was actually my oldest sister and my brother-in-law who ended up taking me and my other sister up to Fort McMurray to visit my mom. If this is confusing, I'm sorry. So yeah, we're driving up to Fort McMurray and my brother-in-law was driving and his driving was making me very, very nervous. We'd be on a single lane road, so every time he'd get out and pass a car, the whole time my stomach would just tighten again and I'd be I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And then the minute he'd get back into his lane, I'd be oh wow, it's okay now. So we ended up finally making it to Fort McMurray, and I was so nervous the whole time. We get there late, I say hi to my mom, I go to bed, whatever. So the next week slowly passes by, and as each day passes, that like twisting, knotted feeling in my stomach, it like slowly like moves up my body, and like it gets into my chest. And then like a few days later, like I feel like my throat is gonna like close all the time. You know when like your toes cramp or like your calf cramps? And well, that's what it felt like was happening in my stomach to begin with, and then it was moving up to my throat, and I felt like my throat kept wanting to close. We were in the grocery store, and then I just like out of nowhere, I thought my throat was like closing. Like I felt like I couldn't breathe like at all. Like I kept picturing in my head like my lungs were just like I don't know what I pictured, but I was like, oh god, my throat is like closing. So I put my hand to like my throat and just like held it there, because like it helped for some reason. Like it was like calming to me. I was like, oh, I kind of have this under control. I don't know. So my mom's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know, my throat's bothering me. I didn't talk pretty much throughout the entire time we were grocery shopping, and I felt like every time I talked, like I'd get really worked up and I couldn't breathe. So we get into the car. Once we're in the car, the feeling like it gets so much worse, because I was getting super like freaked out every time I was in a car. Driving just like set me off. So we get home, and then I go to my sister. Sorry, my camera died, but I'm back. So yeah, I pull my sister aside and I tell her, I'm like, Chantel, something seriously wrong with me. Like I feel like I'm gonna stop breathing. And she's like, well, you should tell mom. I'm like, no, I can't tell mom. I don't even know what was going through my head that made me so scared to tell someone. Like I didn't know what was gonna happen, but I was like terrified to tell my mom that I was like having like breathing issues. Anyways, so I tell my sister, I'm like, please don't say anything. She's like, dude, what the heck, no, this is like messed up. So I go back down to the kitchen, my mom's cooking dinner, and I'm like feeling a lot worse now that I told my sister. I'm freaking out a bit more, and so I'm like clinging my throat. And I'm like, okay, no, I'm okay. So I remove my hand, and then my sister comes downstairs, and she's like, you should talk to Ashley, Mom. And my mom's like, why? She's like, Ashley says she can't breathe. And my mom's like, what? And I'm like, nothing. I go into the bathroom, which is like on the same floor, to like be alone. Everyone was staring at me, and it freaked me the hell out. It's like, don't look at me, don't pay attention to me. And I'm just like, okay, it's okay, I can calm down, I'm fine. Nope. Then all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, I just like start hyperventilating. I'm like, and so I go into the kitchen, and my mom's like, oh my god, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I can't breathe. And so basically the next 6 hours of my life was just like the worst 6 hours of my life. Maybe the first 20 minutes, my parents are just trying to calm me down, like, breathe into this bag, and like, it wasn't helping at all. It was actually making it worse. Like the noise of the bag was freaking me out more. I was so wound up that every single thing was setting me off. So my mom gets me to sit in a chair. I'm still freaking the hell out. So she asked my stepdad, should I call an ambulance? And he's like, yeah, she probably should. She's on the phone behind me. I can't see her, but I can hear her. And she's getting through to them. And then she's like explaining to them what's going on. They're like, okay, we'll be right over. So yeah, they show up. And I'm sitting in the kitchen on the chair still, breathing honestly really bad, like like it was awful. And it was just that for 2.5 hours straight. And so they show up, they put like an oxygen mask on me, like the little oxygen, the hell's it? They gave me oxygen. So yeah, they checked my heart rate, and it was 193 beats per minute, and all I'm doing is sitting there breathing. Like, it was just like pretty freaking scary. Like, they're like, okay, this is really bad, we're gonna take her to the hospital, see if we can find anything. Like, they're like, this might be just an anxiety attack. If it is, it's really severe. So they pull me out of my house in a stretcher. They're taking me to the ambulance. I'm looking around, and everybody's outside their doors, like looking, checking out what's going on. I'm like 14 years old, and I'm on a stretcher, and it's like, okay. And like literally I look fine to them. So yeah, my mom comes with me, Thank God, because I was like freaking the hell out. It was my first ambulance ride. Loved it. It was great. Never gonna forget it. They pricked my finger and, okay, my mom has diabetes, so she tests her sugars all the time, and I've used it. Don't even feel a thing with hers, okay? This one like traumatized me. It felt like they were trying to break my finger off of my hand. Anyways, they prick it, check my sugars, they're like, okay, it's fine. And like instantly in my head, like before they said it was fine and they were still like testing it, I'm like, am I okay? Do I have diabetes? Like, I just freaked out. I'm like, oh my God, am I dying? And they're like, no, you're completely fine. So I'm still like panicking, breathing really freaking hard the whole time. So we end up taking the ambulance all the way to the hospital. It's like a 15-minute drive. We get there, I'm still freaking out, and they just basically put me in like a really quiet room, and my parents are there with me. After like 2 hours, I finally calmed my breathing down. And by the way, I should mention the entire time, my hand was on my throat. After about 2.5 hours at the hospital, it was then like 10:30 at night. And I don't know why, but I was so nervous to sleep in my bed that I asked to sleep in the living room. That was the first night that I fell asleep with my hand on my throat. So I woke up and like immediately that feeling came back. So I put my hand on my throat. I walked around for a week straight like that, okay? Everything I did was one-handed. And we went out in public. I actually walked around like this because like the feeling like moved up even more, and I felt like it was like right here. It's crazy what the mind does, honestly. Like, at the time, I didn't think about it, like, logically. Like, you know nothing's really going on. Like, that's a really weird thing to happen to you. I was just panicking the whole time. So that was my first panic attack. And I will never, ever forget it. And I had my next one, like, 3 days after that. And the whole year of grade 8 was the worst year for me for anxiety. I had a lot of panic attacks at school. Just making me emotional for some reason. So anyways, that is the story of my first panic attack, and I don't know why I'm smiling right now because it was really hard to tell. It was really hard to like relive all of that, and I know that was like excruciatingly painfully long. But thank you for bearing with me if you made it all the way to this point. Well, I'm going to end this video here. So give it a big thumbs up if you liked it. And please let me know in the comment section below if you liked it. And as always, please subscribe to my channel. I make videos as often as I can at the moment as I'm just trying to get my YouTube channel started. And also, if you didn't know, I am on Instagram and you can follow me there. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. What was I just doing? Oh man. Okay, bye.